come to the floor to talk about a big scam in our country. It's happening in broad daylight before our very eyes. Politicians here in Washington know what's going on, but they refuse to speak about it. They're too worried about getting reelected in most cases. And they think telling the truth about the scam will hurt their chances in staying in power. Well, here's the sad truth. For decades now, the American people have paid into Social Security each month without having any idea if they will ever see a cent of the money that they put in. Since being signed into law in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our great president, Americans' money has been going in the front door of the federal government and then going right out the back door. Your dollar doesn't grow, and it doesn't come back to you or your children. It's a big, gigantic, blown-up Ponzi scheme. And the last time I looked, people who do Ponzi schemes usually go to jail. Every American is forced to participate in it. You got no choice. You don't have a say of the matter. Whether you're 17 or 67, more than 6% of your paycheck is taken out by the federal government to pay for Social Security, your so-called retirement. That might not seem like a lot, but to me, an American struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, that 6% is a huge sacrifice. Americans have been paying into this program for years, only to see a fraction of what they have been promised. It really makes you wonder how this government-approved Ponzi scheme is legal. The truth is that this retirement savings, this savings program is 100% broke. It's absolutely broke. Just like our federal government of $40 trillion in debt. The Social Security Fund is projected to run out of its reserve money in 2032, just a few years from now. You know, when these funds are depleted, senior citizens could see a cut in their monthly check up to 22 to 25% of their benefits. On average, that's $500 a month. You know, if the federal government were to try and save the program, it would most likely mean that your taxes would skyrocket. 38% of mandatory spending within the federal budget annually goes toward failing Social Security program. Yes, the money you send up here, 38% a year goes to Social Security, not the money that you already sent, because guess what? It's been sent, it's been spent and scammed out of our system. It's not there. In other words, almost $1.6 trillion every year of your taxpayer dollars is being spent on a program that is currently scheduled to go bankrupt in 6 years. So basically the money you send up here has been spent and now is nowhere to be found. The Social Security program is the single largest program we're wasting our tax dollars on. Biggest. It's a mind-boggling program, to say the least, but don't worry, it gets worse. After decades of having Social Security taken out, millions of Americans have to pay taxes when they go to collect their Social Security. Yep, you're exactly right. After you pay taxes and you put it in there for savings for many years and you get it back, guess what? You got to pay taxes on that. Because our former president and former senator, Mr. Joe Biden, when he was a senator in 1983, got the great idea of let's tax Social Security. Boy, what a scam. Depending on which tax bracket you're in, between 50% to 85% of your benefits can be taxed by the federal government. Last year, I introduced the Senior Citizens Tax Elimination Act to stop the unjust double tax on Social Security benefits. Thankfully, the one big beautiful bill included senior deductions that significantly reduced federal taxes for the majority of retirees. Thank goodness. In a day and age where the cost of living is skyrocketing and our seniors should not experience a second tax on their Social Security when they're already paid tax on that money. If we must keep this outdated program, the least we can do is to ensure that senior citizens don't get slapped with a double tax. Despite what millions of Americans have been tricked into believing, it turns out that paying into Social Security does not entitle you to a fixed pot of money. Everybody thinks we're going to pay in, I'm going to get a lot of money at the end. That sad reality is that many Americans won't see a cent of the money that they paid into Social Security. Basically, Social Security is just, folks, another tax. A tax on both employees and employers, since most companies have to match the 6% that their employees are forced to pay out of their paychecks. Yeah, they double the tax. This is socialism. It's highway robbery. And for the last 60 years, we've known this program was going under, but no one up here has been willing to fix it. In fact, Social Security is known as the third rail of politics that no one up here is allowed to talk about. Don't talk about Social Security because we don't have a solution and we might lose our jobs. In fact, Social Security is known as that third rail because nobody will touch it. It's taboo to talk about Social Security. But my question is why? Why is that? We work for the people. We work for the taxpayers. We've known this program was going bankrupt for years. It's been a disaster since day one. When millions of Americans are going to reach retirement age soon, we better look out. They're expecting to get their money. They're expecting to get the money that they paid into Social Security for years. They're going to get screwed over with nothing left, and this is going to be a serious problem. Social Security scam doesn't stop there. As you know, Joe Biden welcomed tens of millions of illegals into this country with open arms. They said that our borders are closed. Yeah, after they let 20 million people in that shouldn't be here. These aren't nice people either, most of them. Many of them are rapists, murderers, drug lords, and gang members. Well, it turns out the Biden administration and Orlando Mayorkas, our great Homeland Security Director, they weren't just letting these illegals into our country without vetting them. They were handing them Social Security and Medicaid benefits as they were coming into the door. Welcome to the United States of America. We're broke, but we're going to give you money. We're going to give you a Social Security number. It's no wonder we're broke.